In the fall of 1863, the small town of Millfield, Kentucky recorded 17 military weddings and 16 military funerals over just 8 months. What made these numbers especially unsettling wasn't only the rapid string of deaths, but that 15 of those fallen soldiers had all married the same woman. Her name was Constance Grimsley, and by the war's close, local documents would reveal she had buried 7 husbands, claimed their military pensions, and still somehow held the reputation of being the most devoted war widow across 3 counties. Each soldier's official cause of death was listed identically: complications from war wounds, accompanied by what the town doctor labeled battlefield fever. But newly uncovered correspondence between Union and Confederate medical officers points to something far darker. Letters discovered in 1923 during courthouse renovations showed that both sides had quietly begun investigating the unusually high death rate among soldiers stationed in Millfield. That inquiry ended abruptly when the lead investigator, Chaplain Samuel Rutherford, was found dead in his quarters under circumstances later described as deeply suspicious. What authorities uncovered in Constance's attic 70 years later would forever alter our understanding of Civil War medicine and raise chilling questions about how many other so-called devoted widows may have been running similar schemes across the fractured countryside. Before we continue with Constance Grimsley's chilling story and her calculated approach to marriage, I want you to know this channel is dedicated to bringing you the most mysterious and unsettling stories from American history. If hidden darkness in our past fascinates you, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss a story like this one. And let me know where you're listening from. Drop a comment with your city or state and whether your area holds any lingering Civil War mysteries of its own. To truly grasp how Constance Grimsley was able to carry out her deadly enterprise for so long, we have to look at the unique conditions that made Millfield the perfect hunting ground for a woman of her particular skill. Millfield during the Civil War wasn't merely another Kentucky town. It stood at the tense crossroads between Union and Confederate supply lines. With soldiers constantly cycling through, the population swelled with young men eager for comfort, companionship, and the fleeting promise of stability before marching back to uncertainty. Constance recognized this desperation and fashioned herself into the answer to it. Described in local papers as striking but somber, she carried the air of tragedy from her very first widowhood. That aura drew in men convinced they had discovered someone who truly understood the risks of war and the weight of sacrifice. Yet beneath the black dresses and whispered prayers lay a precise strategy: wed quickly, secure access to military pay, and ensure her new husband never lived long enough to return from duty. Neighbors recalled how Constance's homes were always filled with the scent of tonics, teas, and poultices she brewed for her husband's recovery. Soldiers often entered her house limping from battlefield injuries, only to be confined to bed within weeks, never to rise again. When her final arrest finally came, many in Millfield were stunned, not because they believed her innocent, but because they couldn't fathom how she had escaped exposure for so long. The trial records, though fragmented, paint a chilling portrait: a woman who mastered the roles of grieving widow, dutiful nurse, and devoted bride, all while quietly building a legacy of poisoned promises. Constance Grimsley's story isn't merely about one woman's cruelty. It's about how communities, blinded by appearances and desperate for comfort during uncertain times, can become accomplices to the very horrors they fear. Her tale forces us to ask a question that lingers even now: how many tragedies in history were hidden behind black veils and whispered condolences, never recorded, never punished, only buried alongside their victims?